G'day. Well, I was a bit blown away the other day up in Coles supermarket when I discovered they had on sale these 720p ROTOR Action Cams for just $35. $35. And here's the little camera here. It's a little tiny GoPro lookalike camera, I guess, which has a power button and a mode button on the top to change between video, stills and playback, and on the side it's got some useful features that the GoPro doesn't have, which is a menu button and an up and down cursor rocker, which is really handy. On the other side there's room for a micro SD card and a USB connection, how you talk to your computer. It's a 720p camera with audio, and it turns out it comes with its own waterproof housing, which looks very much like the GoPro waterproof housing, proper O-ring seal, spaces for the buttons, a flat lens which is perfect for both underwater and surface focusing. So the camera just goes in the back. After you've checked the seal for its integrity, you clip it down like so, and you've got yourself a little underwater camera, which is pretty much the same, except that when you turn this little guy on, you get a screen, a little LCD screen on the back, which comes with the camera, all for $35. See, if you use the GoPro camera, which I've used in lots of professional situations, it's a fantastic camera, but if you want to see the LCD screen, you have to buy an extra one for an extra $140, which takes the price up over $400 for the whole thing. That plugs on, and then it has its own LCD screen. There it is. Takes a while to warm up, but it's there. So, you know, it's $150 just for the LCD screen for this one, and you get the whole thing in one go with the ROTOR camera. I'll just put this one in its case. So there's the two of them. They both come with a number of options. There's the two of them side by side. You see, not that much different. Sideways view, forward view. Just two buttons to operate each one. They're set to wide angle lens, but you can change the focal length in both of them. And there's a whole bunch of accessories, which includes, of course, in the box with the ROTOR, even for $35, comes a suction cup that works really well, sticks to the windscreen of a car beautifully, or bodywork. And there's a whole bunch of other options in the box here, which include instruction book. You get a strap holder and a strap which can attach to all sorts of different things. This just attaches to almost anything. It's a different mount to the GoPro. It's got a little mount with a kind of a screw thread and a little notched plate that means it does actually lock into place and doesn't rotate freely unless you release the knob. It also comes with this little bicycle connector, so you can connect it to bike handlebars or anything else that's a bit like bike handlebars for that matter. Again, it's got this little notchy connector, which means it's actually very, very good, very stoutly made. So when I saw this little guy for $35 at Coles, and this one for a bit over $400, even though I know it's beautiful and works well, I just want to see what $35 buys you. So I figured the best way was to stick them both to the windscreen of my car and take them for a spin. Okay, well, I've now attached my two cameras to the dashboard of the Peugeot 306. Here's my GoPro Hero 2, around $400 worth. And here's my ROTOR HD camera, around $35 worth. And I'll just turn them on. Okay, now we should be rolling now. So we'll fire up the beast and see what happens. Okay, first up we're having a look at the GoPro camera's footage, which of course is sharp A little bit of barrel distortion, which I would easily fix in Pro-Adrenaline, which I always do. Slight bumpiness because of the way the mount is attached to the windscreen, but that's also expected and can be fixed again very easily in Pro-Adrenaline with the shake reduction. But notice that the colour definition is excellent. This is completely straight out of the camera, no colour grading whatsoever. And the colour is excellent. It's very sharp. It's very wide. It's 170 degrees wide in the default position in the GoPro. So now let's switch to the new $35 ROTOR. Now you can see immediately that there's a colour shift. It's a distinct shift to green to my eyes. The blue sky is nowhere near as clear. It's not a bad image in terms of sharpness. It's nowhere near as wide in the default position as the GoPro. Watch out for the speed hump, slowly over the speed hump. Of course, you get rolling shutter artifacts as you do in the GoPro, and they can be fixed again very easily in Pro-Adrenaline or some similar software. I'll just put them both up together so you can see them side by side. Now when you see them side by side, of course there's a difference because of the different focal length of the GoPro, much wider than the ROTOR. But even despite that, you can see that the quality of the ROTOR, even though it's noticeably worse than the GoPro, I'm sure it's quite fixable in post-production, and I'm going to do a test for the next article I do on the ROTOR to show what you can do with a bit of tweaking and colour grading. But I have to say straight out that for a camera that costs a tenth of the value of the GoPro, this is quite remarkable. It's certainly a camera that I would consider having in my kit as a spare, or even a few of them to put on different parts of the car or whatever. An amazing achievement technically to get a camera this good, this cheap. And here we are back among all the freesias on this wonderful 27-degree day in Melbourne.